Spring break was just around the corner when I decided I want to go to Colorado for a couple days. This was because my friend invited me to go dirt biking through the Colorado mountains. In Colorado, the place where we usually ride has lots of amazing bike paths through the mountains and through the dense woods. So when my friend also informed me that he is going to have spring break, I decided to buy the tickets. A week later, the time came, and I got on a plane and flew to Colorado. I met up with my friend, and both of us went and rented out some dirt bikes from a nearby local shop. As I was filling out the paperwork, I couldn't help but notice how old and broken this place was. The weird thing is that there was only 2 dirt bikes left. The man at the front asked me where I was going to dirt bike. I replied that we were taking the North Trail. After I said that, his expression changed. It went from a normal expression to a more frightening expression. I decided not to question him about it and just hand him my completed paperwork. After that was done, my friend and I got our bikes and headed back home. The next day around 3, we headed towards the North Trail. At around 3:30, we arrived. We took out the bikes from the back of the truck and we started dirt biking. This trail takes a couple hours because it is a split between mountains and dense forests. As we were biking through the mountains, everything seemed great. The scenery was amazing and the trail was awesome. As soon as we hit the dense forest, everything changed. There were lots of large tree trunks constantly blocking the path, resulting in my friend and I going very slow. After we cleared the tree trunks, I picked up the pace again and was speeding through the forest. That was the last thing I knew before waking up. My friend was sitting next to me. I looked around at first, confused at where we were. My friend basically told me that I hit an invisible tripwire on the ground. This caused my bike to flip midair and crash, causing me to black out. Before I could ask my friend more questions, he just said, "Let's get out of here." "My bike is broken," I told him. "That's fine, we can walk. We just need to leave this place." By this time, the sun was starting to go down, and it was really getting dark. I am lucky to not have been injured, so I was able to start walking towards the exit to the woods. As I was walking, my friend kept frantically looking behind him, as if something was following us. This was becoming so frequent, I had to question him about it. That was when he explained the whole situation. As soon as I hit the tripwire, he slowed down and ran over to where I was, to see if I was okay. But as he looked around, he saw an old woman staring at us from behind a clearing in the woods. He couldn't just leave me, so he stood there with the woman staring at him for a couple minutes. That was why he was rushing when I finally woke up to leave the place. As we were both walking, he looked behind and thought he saw the same woman again, following us. Now that I fully understood the whole story, I was scared. We both broke into a sprint to try and leave these woods. That was when we heard a loud laughing coming from the woods. That was the last thing I wanted to hear right now. That pretty much confirmed that we were being followed by some creepy woman in the woods. Luckily, we reached a clearing out of the dense forest, and we hopped into my friend's truck. Before completely driving off, we took a glance at the woods, but we could not see anything. Either way, we were not going to stick around, so we left. The next day, we wanted to return the bikes, but when we reached the bike shop, it was closed. The local police happened to be passing by, and the officer told my friend and I that the shop and North Trail were closed for spring break due to a murder that happened on the trail. That was when I realized the bike shop, tripwire, and creepy woman was all a setup for someone to murder me and my friend. My entire school just got out for spring break. Some of my friends decided to host a party Friday night at their house. I obviously was going to attend the party because this girl I had a crush on was going to be there. Tonight was going to be the night where I finally would ask her out. Fast forward a couple hours and I was on my way, walking to the party. The party was 2 blocks down from my house, so that is why I was walking. I should probably mention that we live in a significantly safe neighborhood. When I arrived, I could hear loud music and lots of people talking. I walked in and met up with some of my friends. Once I got there, All of my friends dared me to go up to my crush and ask her out, but since I was kinda shy, I kept on putting it off. 20 minutes later, we were still chilling at the party when they all dared me again. This time, I just decided to go up to her. So I walked up to her and said, "Hey, I think you're kinda cute. Wanna hang out sometime?" To my surprise, she actually said yes. I was over the moon, but the excitement did not last long. Suddenly, all of the power cut off. The music stopped playing and the lights went out. Since my friend was hosting the party, I walked over to him and asked him what is going on. He looked confused as to why the power was out. He asked me if I wanted to go with him to check out the fuse box outside of the house. I agreed to go, and we both walked outside. We walked to the side of the house and reached the fuse box. This shocked me. It looked as if someone had smashed the fuse box with some sort of bat or something. It was completely destroyed. It must have been someone at the party playing a prank, I asked my friend. I did not get a response, leading me to believe that whoever broke the fuse box is inside the house at the party. Both me and my friend booked it back into the house to make sure everything was okay. When I went inside, everything seemed okay, but most of the people were starting to leave the party since the power was still out. There was no way to fix the fuse box, so everyone left the party except my friend and I, and my crush and her friend. All four of us thought that it was a little weird that someone would just smash the fuse box. At that exact moment, I heard a crack from the wooden stairs. I instantly looked towards the stairs, but I could not see anything. As my vision adjusted to the darkness, I could see the silhouette of a man standing on the stairs. Trying to sound as calm as possible, I told my friends that we need to leave the house. Everyone was confused, but they did as I told. Outside, I called the police and explained the story to my friends. Once the cops arrived, they searched the entire house, but they did not find anyone. The back door was left open, which left me to believe that the man escaped through the back. To this day, I am still not sure the man's intention for breaking into my friend's house. I was 20 at the time. Since I had some time off due to spring break, I decided to fly down to Vegas with my friend. We wanted to have some fun and party for a couple days before we started school again. Once we arrived, we drove to the hotel where we were staying at. As it got late, both my friend and I went out to the clubs to party. At some point in the night, my friend decided that he was going to split up from me in order to talk to this girl that he was into. I went on my own, hung out with some people, and talked. But after a while, I decided that I was going to call it a night and leave. I looked around for my friend, but I could not find him. I just assumed he was out drinking with the girl, so since I was a little buzzed, I left. I reached the hotel and immediately fell asleep. I woke up confused. I looked at the time. It was 3 a.m. I looked at my phone. My friend was calling me. I quickly picked up. "Hello?" I said. There was no answer. The phone hung up. That was when it hit me. My friend did not come back from the party. I called my friend again, a couple times, but there was no answer. I was scared. I didn't know what to do. I ended up calling the police. Once the police got to the hotel, they tried tracking the number, and they were actually successful. So I got in the back of the cop car and together we drove to the location of the phone call. We ended up being taken to a back alleyway, which looked really old and dirty. This was really starting to freak me out. The cops got out of the car and followed the phone location to a red door, entering into some sort of massive warehouse. Inside, the police officers drew out their guns and started searching the entire place. In the far back of the warehouse, there was a small closet. When the police officers opened the closet, they found my friend. His hands and feet were tied, and his mouth had tape on it. He looked really beat up, but he ended up being okay. Also in the closet was a large bag. Once the officers opened the bag, they could see a decomposing human body. This terrified me, because the same thing could have happened to my friend. The cops questioned my friend to find out information about the people who did this to him. After my friend and I left the warehouse, the cops stayed around to investigate. I never got much more information about the whole situation, but I am grateful that my friend ended up being okay that night.